Now I'm getting ready to install the solar panels. I have 2 of these units. I bought them off Amazon. Oops. Guess I should put them on that way. I bought them off Amazon. It's a kit, came with 2 panels and the solar controller. I intend to mount them in this position here. So that I could take advantage of extra sun by just moving the trailer and pointing them in the direction of the front of the trailer. It should work fine while I'm driving along. The fridge only draws, when it's running, the fridge draws about 80 watts. These are both 100-watt panels, 200-watt panels. So even if they're only putting about half out because of the angle and depending on where the sun is while I'm driving along, still should be more than enough to charge the battery and keep the fridge running. Because the fridge only runs about, once it gets cold, it only runs about once every 15 minutes. So really you're not drawing a total wattage. You're not going to draw that much. What I'm doing inside here right now is I have the fridge running. I want to deplete the batteries. I'll probably leave the fridge running for 3 or 4 hours. I want to get the batteries down low enough to see how much current the panels will put out, so I can make sure that I'm getting a decent charge. This probably is a pretty good day to test that out because it's not very sunny out, it's cloudy. We'll see how much wattage we can get out of, or how much current we can get out of the panels with it cloudy out. So right now, the fridge is drawing 0, and also, obviously I'm not plugged into shore power, so that I don't want the batteries being charged up by the shore power. So we'll see. We'll be able to drain these batteries hopefully down so they're probably about maybe 10% below maximum charge, and I should be able to see how much wattage or current I'm going to get out of the solar panels. Okay, so I'll see you in a bit. Okay, carrying on with the installation of the solar panels on the Light Model 3. You can see what I've done is I have glued on small discs. There are 6 of them per panel. They're just pieces of scrap Phylon. And I have pre-drilled all the holes for the screws. There'll be 6 number 10 stainless steel Robertson screws holding each panel down, and they're all glued, all the discs are glued on with Quad Max. And I will also be putting a bead of Quad Max in between the discs at the bottom, and I'll probably put another bead at the end of the solar panel on the roof. The idea of the discs is not really to worry about what do they call it, point separation, because that doesn't really happen with this type of foam construction. This is EPS foam, which bonds much better to Phylon than XPS does, utilizing the same glue that I use. And the way I make the discs is pretty simple. First, you use a hole saw, drill the hole you want in a piece of plywood or whatever scrap wood you have laying around. And then in order to make the disc, you just remove the center point drill from the hole saw. And then you just put it on your piece of Phylon with another piece of scrap plywood underneath and make all the discs you want. The advantage of doing it this way is obviously you don't have a hole in the middle of your disc. So everything's looking good right now. I am ready to go ahead and put this panel on because the glue on the discs has been drying now for a couple of hours. I just finished putting the discs on here and drilling the holes for the screws. So I'm going to leave that for a couple of hours, but I'll go ahead and put this panel on now. All right, I'll catch you in a few minutes. Okay, so now I have completed the installation. I tie wrapped the wires as tight to the trailer as I could, but I've also put some glue in behind them, temporarily taped in place until the glue dries. So the two solar panels are wrapped around up to the roof. And this is the positive wire tucked around and gone into the side, and on this side we have the negative wire tucked beside the tongue box and going into the side. Now I've tried to glue this in place so that it doesn't look like it's going to hold. But that isn't that critical, really. As long as it stays in place up here. I'm using the glue just to try to avoid putting any more holes in the trailer. It's one thing I don't like about solar panels is unless you just glue them on, which would make it really awkward to try to replace because they're not going to last forever. You have to screw, and in a composite trailer like this, it's nice not to have a lot of screw holes. It's never going to leak anyway. I mean, what's underneath the outer layer of Phylon is waterproof and also covered in glue, and then there's another layer of Phylon that's glued onto the styrofoam, so the chances of leaking are pretty well nil. But it's just the thought of drilling a bunch of holes in a nice smooth surface. At any rate, it's in the garage right now. Now, according to this little charge controller, if you look at the battery, it says it's actually charging, but I kind of find that hard to believe because it's still inside the garage. And I'm not really that happy with this charge controller. The one in our big trailer is much better. It shows the current, the voltage of the panel. I keep pressing the buttons, and I guess I need to go back and read the manual a little better because I can't get the information I'd really like to see there. Anyway, I'm going to drag it out and see what we get when it's in the sunlight. I also have the fridge running. So as you can see, let's see. The fridge right now is drawing 73 watts. According to this, my battery is at 12 volts even. And as you know, these are AGM batteries, but similar to lead acid, full charge usually means they're at 13.6 volts. Okay, I'll catch you in a bit.